It's Underscore from the Time Pals, and this week we dive into our shared love of geek collectibles, talk hip-hop and Pokemon card mashups with our special guest, chase our holy grail items, and laugh at some of the most bizarre things you've ever seen people sell. It's Hobby Box Hype featuring Norell, the Hobby Box Hunter.
Late nights and cheap wine, we gather around the mic, just killing time.
So it's Underscore, and this week's a nostalgia trip through our shared love of geek collectibles, trading cards, action figures, comic books, movie prop memorabilia, and basically an act of a mini celebration that we survived long enough to see our pastimes become expensive-ass passions. With me to rummage through the attic are Nickel,
Ahoy.
John Powell.
Hey there.
And for this week's episode, we have a special guest, Norell, aka Hobby Box Hunter.
How you doing, everybody? Glad to be here.
Norell has deep roots in Bay Area sports collectible scenes. Currently, he's carved out a unique brand of shirts that combine sports cards with legends from the hip-hop Bay Area scene.
They're dope as hell.
Yeah, they're amazing. We'll get into it a little bit in a little while, but the moment John and I saw it, we started salivating. They look incredible. I know you've kind of done the circuit with them already. I'm assuming business has been pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was quite a bit overwhelming, to be honest with you. I really didn't know what was going to happen when I put myself out there like that, and it was my first time doing so. But the positive feedback from the community has been overwhelming.
And just a quick history behind the episode, dude. So I know we pulled you in as our kind of guest and our expert. The idea kind of came to me when I was reading an article about Dave Bautista. So shout out to another Filipino. Norell is also Filipino. And how he was rehabbing in a back injury back in 2000. And while he was rehabbing, dude got really into eBay and then started like looking into collecting vintage lunchboxes. So this dude who's in a giant man who's protein in human form is now giddily swinging a child's tin with the Dukes of Hazzards on the side. It's fucking nuts. After kind of like whispering nerd under my breath, because I assume he can't hear me, I turned my Star Wars Stormtrooper office chair away from my desk, faced my wall of pro wrestling autographs, and I realized that in a better world, I would be just like him. Like Dave Bautista is us with money. He's Nick Cage. You know what I mean? He's the epitome of if we had a chance to collect anything we wanted on the planet, this would be it. He found his thing. I looked up what he would spend as a multimillionaire. His most expensive lunchbox is something called a Toppy, which was bought with stamps way back in the day, worth about 15 grand.
Jeez.
Right? He also has a collection of Volkswagen lunchboxes worth about $800 a piece, and then owns a Beatles lunchbox still in the original packaging. This is more important to him than any wrestling title. Like as a wrestler, he was okay. As a lunchbox collector, he's a living legend. After reading that whole article, I'm like, I would like to be him right now. But anyways, back to my guest. Norell is obviously somebody who's I've known personally for a little bit. One of the hardest working guys I know. One of the first things he told me when I met him was, "Hey, I've got this card business," and I said, "Okay, that's cool." And he said, "Hey, I collect a lot of these Bay Area cards," and he's like Oakland A's and Giants and stuff. And I immediately was like, "That's amazing because I buy dumb shit with the Giants logo on it, and we should be best friends." So before we begin with my questions, I just want to ask you real quick. So how'd you get started in the collectible business?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thank you for the intro. Thank you for allowing me to be here. This is my first podcast, so super stoked to be here. Before we get into how I got into the business, I'll just go back and tell you a little bit just how I got into collectibles from the get-go and kind of what led up. Mm-hmm. So long story short, I think I fall into a bucket that a lot of people fit into in modern day collectibles, and which is cool because I don't really get a chance to talk about it, but I think it's important to, So as a kid, I didn't think of anything that we were doing as collectibles. It was just stuff that we just did as normal everyday things, the toys, the action figures, the video games, sports cards. So back then we just enjoyed it. So for me, when I first got into things of that nature. It was mainly sports cards back in elementary school. I remember just going to the liquor store. You can find sports cards at pretty much any convenience store. Obviously, if I really wanted a great selection, I'd go to KB Toy Stores, Toys R Us. Those are the outlets that I would really try to find some of the things I really wanted. But I really didn't collect anything after elementary. I pretty much stopped, as I got a little bit older, and flash forward all throughout my adult life, was really out of tune of anything collectible related. And then right when COVID hit, this is where I fall into a lot of people who got pulled back into the nostalgia factor.
We all thought we were going to die.
Yeah, right. So I was cleaning out my garage during the COVID, era, and I stumbled across my old box of sports cards, and it just immediately, right when I opened up, I just got this wave of nostalgia that just was like, whoa, I remember opening these when I was a kid. And right when I opened up my first pack of when I was cleaning out my garage, I quickly just went online and tried to see, hey, what are these worth nowadays? And man, I was just in shock. I was just in shock of some of the value that people were putting on some of these cards out there. And this is right when the collectibles boom was booming. That 2020, 2021 timeline is where pretty much across the board, sneakers, video games, toys, sports cards were all on the uptick when it came to value on the secondary market. And man, I got pulled in. So from since then, I got my, knee deep in just, collecting modern day sports cards, a little bit of retro. And then I built up enough inventory to where I said, you know what, let me try to make a business out of this. So I started an eBay account, also on Macari, and also on just Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that. Just trying to sell certain cards, and quickly built up a following, locked in a few sales on eBay. And here I am today.
So how did you end up coming up with the whole hip hop legends as sports card designs?
So I think at some point during the whole business side of sports card collecting, I was still teeter-tottering on, it was still a hobby and trying to make it into a business. I was spending more than I was selling, and really just teeter-tottering and trying to find that groove on really trying to turn it into a real business. And I was kind of getting burnt out, just the long hours that it took to really list every single card online, scan the front and back, create the listings, go to all the local sports card shows, because that's where you really, try to make a name for yourself and get out there and meet other people. And it was a grind, just with anything in life. If you really want to turn it from a hobby to a business, you got to put in the work. And that work was really taxing. And I think at some point I was just getting so burnt out, I was losing the passion of it. So I was really contemplating about just selling my entire collection and just moving on.
Then you met me and you said, "There's a sucker."
So man, I was really contemplating about giving it up, selling my entire collection and just closing that chapter, moving on. And I was telling my wife, I want to give it one last go. And I was like, all right, what can I do to bring passion back into what I was doing? And the first thing I thought of was, well, you know what? I want to sell something that I would want to buy. And one thing I said was, I don't see any of the people that we grew up listening to, all of the Bay Area icons, whether it be rap, pop, whatever the case may be. I don't see them anywhere on a sports card or on some sort of trading card. So you know what? Let me create something. So I took a stab at it. I created my first release, which was Mac Dre E40 and Too Short. And man, I just put it out there, didn't know what was going to happen. And the ton of feedback that I got was just so overwhelming. And that's really what drove me to start that was, hey, if I want to create something, I want to create something that I would buy. And that's what I would buy.
No, that's awesome, man. Like I said, like for me and John, the moment we saw it, we were like, "This is an incredible idea." We both got very jealous. Do you have any of those you can show right now?
Not the shirts, but I have. So I put them all on canvas. I don't know how it's gonna come up on the camera, but I put them on canvas.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the Mac Dre, and I inspired it. My initial intention was to create an icon of an iconic card in resemblance. So for those Pokemon collectors out there, this is a resemblance of the Charizard first edition Pokemon.
Racist.
So this is Mac Dre. I mean, even the small details, the 707 HP, 707 is the area code of Vallejo. Over here is ability, you have the microphone, first edition, his birth date, one of his top singles, Too Hard for the Radio, Thizzle Dance, something that he was known for. Over here in the left-hand corner, the crest is the neighborhood that he was from in Vallejo. So just small things here just to add a little bit of detail. So here's
You're not just Googling popular guys. Like, here we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big thing for guys like us, because you can kind of sniff out a poser pretty quickly.
Yeah, I try to put as much detail into it because I didn't know, again, what kind of feedback was going to happen. I didn't know if there was going to be some haters out there that's saying, hey, you don't know these people, who are you? You're not even in the music business, stuff like that. And then even on the sports card side, there's a community in the card collectors community that are custom art type of collectors, and even then I didn't know what that kind of feedback was going to go. But overall, it's been overwhelmingly positive. A lot of people reached out and just said, hey, this is what I was waiting for. I had this one guy from New Jersey hit me up and said, hey, I've been a lifelong Too Short fan. I'm not even from the Bay Area, but I want one of those shirts. Please send it to me. And it was just cool to know that there's that outreach out there.
I think the thing for me was also that right when I saw you post about those, when I saw you put those designs on Instagram, was right after the first Oakland Roots game where Too Short played, sold the arena out, 26,000 people. So the hype was in the air like crazy. And then those shirts dropped and I was like, oh shit. It's like, I got to get those.
That's awesome.
Believe me when I say, like, it's unique to you. You know what I mean? If I ever see anybody else do it from here on out, I'm like, well, they clearly copied Norell for sure.
Yeah.
Nobody else I know does this, which is great, because that's a sign for me of like something that I would want.
And that was one of the reasons why before I did it, I did put some time into it, because I attempted to sell shirts maybe like one or two times prior to this. And with each time, I didn't find any success at all. And one thing I really learned was you have to find connection with an audience in order for your product to be really received well. And my goal was to connect the hobby community with the Bay Area music scene. And I just know that those two communities can mesh very well. And so far, it's been a blessing. You got some guys that are just all hip hop and rap fans, Bay Area, that know nothing about cards. But now you kind of diversify and you intertwine these two communities, and it benefits everybody.
The 1990s. If you're a Gen X or even a Zennial, the music raised us. Join me, Naomi Carmack, on a trip back to visit your favorite artists of the decade on the Dope Nostalgia podcast. I talk with the hitmakers and discuss their biggest hits and catch up on where they are now. We also talk about the big stars with friends and experts. Dope Nostalgia. Listen today on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever podcasts are served.
Very good. It actually kind of brings me up to my question for the group. So, like, what makes something worth collecting? What makes it worth where you see something, you tell yourself, like, this is going to be the thing I'm going to buy?
I mean, I think the answer for everybody is obviously going to be different.
It's hard. There's never one exact thing, right, Nickel?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, I think for me, it's just whatever I feel like piques my interest, because it's like I don't like just anything that's Oakland A's, because for a while there I was collecting Oakland A's stuff.
What am I going to do with this bag of all this random Oakland A's shit that I have, Nickel?
But it wasn't like
I was going to pawn all my Oakland A's junk off onto you.
But
Nickel is the biggest Oakland A's fan you've ever met. I've never talked to anybody who literally was a man of his word and said, once they move to Sacramento, I'm just dissolving the team. I'm like, there's no fucking way. So I get discounts on tickets. I'm like, hey Nickel, you want to come to a Sacramento A's game with me? And he not only was disgusted, he spat on the ground. And now he went to a Giants game with me. And I was like, this is impossible. This shit is impossible. And he fucking
No,
went to one.
they're dead to me.
Yeah, no bullshit. It's not just I'm gonna wear the sell the team shirt at the stadium. He's like, they're never gonna get a dime from it. Ever.
No. But in any case, for for a while there, I was collecting like A's stuff, and it wasn't just anything A's. It was like I liked the niche stuff, the especially older like heyday like 80s stuff. Although I did come across an uncut, and I still have it, a friend gave it to me, an uncut sheet of ALCS tickets
Oh shit.
Oh, that's cool, man.
from 2006, I think was the year
Nice.
that they got shut out in the division series by the Tigers,
Yeah,
but
Tigers, yeah.
and that's why they're unused, but
Well,
but I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that's all.
And for quite a few years, I've had my eye on trying to get my hands on a ticket or stub to the Battle of the Bay
Right.
series,
The bane of my fucking existence. Holy
especially
shit.
Game 4.
Ugh.
I think that would be so cool to
That's
have
when
a
I
stub
realized that
from.
God doesn't listen to a child's wish. Because that entire time was terrible. I had a best friend who was an Oakland A's fan, and I kept thinking like, well, there's no way like my Giants are gonna lose the Bay Bridge series because
Not only that, but their stadium
right,
got
their stadium
destroyed.
fell apart into the bay. It almost entered the China Basin for real. But that was when I was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. Okay, we're not as good as I thought. I learned a lot of lessons. So with that being said, Nickel, like, do any of you guys remember the first collectible you ever owned? Like something you thought to yourself, either this is going to be worth something someday, or alternatively, like if we took your entire childhood bedroom and put it at auction, this is the thing that is worth the most.
But before we hop into that, because I know you guys probably got some amazing things that you guys had growing up as a kid, I do want to touch base on that last question about what means something as a collectible.
Yeah.
My true belief is collect what you love and just love what you collect. Talking, being in the space of collectibles and going to all the shows and meeting all these people, just collect what you love. I'm a firm believer that there is a collector inside of everyone, whether it be some people love to collect purses, shoes, sneakers, video games. Some people love to collect money, cars, whatever the case may be. There's a collector in everybody. And as long as you love what you're collecting, just continue to do what you love, and that's what means most. The value that comes with these collectibles, it's just the rule of thumb is it's whatever someone is willing to pay for it. But if it means something to you, that's priceless. Yeah.
Here's the thing: I feel terrible every single time I buy more wrestling shit. Every fucking time. This is my argument against that. Is every time I buy something with Macho Man's face on it, I think to myself, Macho Man is dead. There's no way he's ever going to meet me or sign this, and I buy that shit anyway.
Keep it rocking, brother.
It's whatever makes you happy.
I'm terrible and angry every day.
There's little things like honestly, two of my favorite collectibles are right here. Two of the littlest things out of my collection. One is a Stan Lee Lego minifig.
Wow.
And the other one is Robin Hood from the Disney animated Robin Hood movie. It's my favorite Disney movie. And
hey, I got that Robin Hood.
No way.
Yeah, my kid gave me this Robin Hood one, and I forget who gave me this Stan Lee. I'm blanking right now. But like, out of all the stuff, I've got like my case behind me with comics in it, with all sorts of stuff. Those two are the ones that are like, that mean a ton to me. And then like, randomly enough, this little figure of Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. I have a buddy who used to live down in Santa Clara. And so he sent this to me one day with a little like scroll that he made around it that said "The King in the North," because we were going into the show together and all that stuff. Now I'm still mad about the awful mess that show was, and I feel betrayed. And I'm gonna one day I will find a way to hurt the people that ruined it. But that's beside the point. It's like little random stuff. Like I have no other Game of Thrones pieces in anything that I collect, which is mostly comic books.
Right.
And yeah, I think like there's things like, honest to God example, the shirts, man.
Yeah.
where as soon as you see it, you're like, fuck, I gotta have that.
Yeah.
There's something like it hits something in your brain where it either is the perfect combination of things, or it's just, one of those things that you collect, but there's something unique about it that you haven't seen within that group of collectibles before. Like with comics, I try not to just collect. I mean, if I went and bought every comic
Right.
that I thought was cool, I'd spend my entire paycheck just on comics every month with multiple covers, with variants, with like all of that stuff. It's insane. So I have to resist a lot.
Yeah. It's
But
hard. It's hard.
yeah, it's kind of weird. Like there's no real one thing that makes something a collectible to me. It just kind of happens
It
when it
scratches
happens.
an itch in your brain.
Exactly, man. It just
Yeah.
scratches an itch in your brain.
For sure.
What was that next question? The bedroom. How much would it cost for me to take you to my bedroom? What was the question?
Yeah, no, that was exactly what it is. And now I've got to rephrase it because that's disgusting. So if you had to put your entire childhood bedroom up for auction, what would you think would sell the most? Like, this is me as a kid. This thing right here means the most to me.
I mean, nothing was a collectible as a kid, though. Like nothing was
Oh,
taken
I
care of.
beg to differ. I held on to shit that I'm like, this is so important and it's going to be important to somebody else.
See, that was never like every action figure was open. Every pack of cards was open. Every comic book was read. There's no
sure.
like
different lifestyle.
I remember I went to Flying Colors, and they back at the old location along the top of the wall, like almost right below the molding, was all of their expensive books.
Right.
And there was a Wolverine #1 up there, which wasn't it's never been like right now it goes for $80. It's not anything crazy. But back then at 11, 12, spending $35 on a comic book was like, what the fuck? This book is crazy. Oh my God. That was probably the most expensive thing in my room at one point. And I ended up giving it to a friend for a birthday present.
I hope that friend knows how much that costs for you socially.
Yes.
And emotionally.
Emotionally, yeah. But like everything else, there was nothing that would have held a lot of value anymore. Like, just because all the action figures, I put like a ruler on the edge of my desk and stood Zangief on it. I'm like, pile driver, slap it, and it goes flying across the fucking room, recreating Street Fighter battles, man. They were all dinged up. No, my room wouldn't have been worth shit.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I think I'm with John. Like most of everything I had was broken or played with. The only thing I took care of, which I was sure was going to be my retirement, was my baseball cards.
Oh, for sure.
Now I just got a cardboard box of cardboard. I was for sure Ken Griffey Jr. was going to get me through college, right?
Yeah. 100%.
His rookie card, I was set for life, man.
I had so many Bo Jackson cards you do not want to know.
I was immediately thinking of Bo Jackson because he has a trading card game now.
He's the only Raiders jersey I own because my wife's a huge Raiders fan. I'm like, I refuse. But I couldn't wear a Niner jersey to their games, so I was going to get shot. So I said, I'm going to split the difference. We're going to get a Bo Jackson jersey, best Tecmo player of all time. And that's how you're gonna fit in today.
Another big one, which worthless to most people, but priceless to me, the Joe DiMaggio autograph that I got like when I met him in person. So like completely worthless to anybody else unless their name is Chris. But
no, Joe DiMaggio is still a thing. Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio?
Yeah. But yeah, I met him like at I think it was PetSmart, and got his like a personalized autograph. It's not worth anything to anybody else, but I was like, that definitely the most treasured thing, I would say.
So, Nickel, like when you were a kid, were you aware of his legacy? Because he was a name
Yeah.
I would have known, but I would have no idea his importance so much later.
So I'm
No,
fairly
I
sure
mean-
Nickel saw him was like, hey, that's the dude who banged Marilyn Monroe, right?
I would say even as a kid, I had a pretty good grasp of like baseball history.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you. Yeah. I did not. Everything from Kevin Mitchell and before him, I didn't know or give a shit.
I was the most bandwagon of bandwagon fans of baseball and any sport in the 90s when I still cared about it.
Yeah.
It's just like Ken Griffey Jr., Will Clark,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, like only the big names were what I cared about.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I did.
We had so many guys in my elementary school writing Will Clark's name on not on the baseball card, but on the like the plastic sleeve, pretending they had his autograph. But we were all poor kids, so it was all like it wasn't even in cursive. It was all like in regular print, trying to convince each other this was real.
Oh.
One other thing that I think should be mentioned, probably for all of us, is if we had realized when we were kids what our old like cartridge games would be worth today,
Yes,
we would not have traded them in at
No.
Matt's Game Exchange for like
No.
$5.
No,
Right.
for sure,
Man.
for sure.
We would not have taken them to Funko Land
No.
and traded them for like $5-10.
Even when we had an episode about some of the worst games you ever played, and I mentioned what was it, Wall Street Kid? Even some of the worst games ever made are worth something on the market because people
Mhm.
want to see how bad they are.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. And a game like that, I'm sure, is up there just because of how obscure it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, everybody had Mario 3,
Yeah.
but who the hell had Wall Street Kid?
I did. Underscore had it to learn about the stock market.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Nickel and John. Everything I had, I opened up, played with. If everything was in its original packaging, yeah, absolutely, man. They would go on the market like hotcakes. But I think if you auctioned off my room back in the day, I think a lot that would move would probably be action figures.
For sure.
There's a good community of action people who collect action figures, even on the secondhand market.
Yeah.
Original Ninja Turtles, with the band that shot out pizzas, G.I. Joe, even Hot Wheels, some of the original Hot Wheels. But overall, I love playing with my toys. I think video games would also probably go. I had a lot of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis games. So I think video games and action figures will probably go most. And then if there was one single item, man, I would say I shared the same room as my brother to a certain point, and he had a lot of comic books, and he still does. So I bet you some of his comic books would probably go for a little bit there. So yeah, that's my childhood room.
Mm-hmm.
My brother gifted me, my older brother, he's about 10 years older than me, gifted me a bunch of comics I didn't understand. I could barely read them. And there were things like Spider-Man's first time in the black suit for the Secret Wars 2. Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that where I'm like, they wouldn't be mint now. They'd be worth nothing now. But at the same time, whenever I look back on them, I'm like, fuck, dude, like you could actually hold that in your hand and read it versus like people doing it online. You know what I mean? Like I had it in my hands. It's long gone. I don't have any of those anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely miss those for sure. For me, the most valuable thing in the entire world was my Captain EO poster. Michael Jackson's movie at Disneyland. I had a movie poster of Captain EO, and I thought to myself, this is the greatest piece of art of all time. And I would stare at every goddamn detail. Here's how big of a Captain EO fan I was. Before the second Michael Jackson documentary about things that I don't believe, what do you call it? I bought a Captain EO shirt with the little rainbows and stuff. I will never wear that. You want to talk about collectibles? Somebody made one at a Comic-Con. I bought it, and it's sitting in a drawer just for me, just so I can remember a time when I was happy. Fucking amazing. The next one. So I kind of wanted to know what your guys' holy grail collectible was going to be if money was no object. And to preface that, aside from Batista, if you're a nerd like us, the ultimate collectible nerd is Nick Cage. And if you guys don't know, Nick Cage bought at one point in time everything on the planet that would ever make him happy. He bought 2 albino snakes because he decided that one wasn't enough. He bought a shark. He bought the original Action Comics #1 of Superman for $150,000 and then went and named his son Kal-El. But the best story for me of all the collectible bullshit he's ever done, he bought a fucking T-Rex skull that he wasn't supposed to have. It was illegal to have. He bought it anyway and then told everybody he had it. So he could have gotten arrested. But in any case, he bought a Bel Air mansion that was once owned by Dean Martin and Tom Jones, right? These legends of the entertainment field. Once he bought it, half the house was made just for model trains. That's it. Like just one day he said, I'm into model trains. The same way me or you would be like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to collect baseball cards. Stack that shit just a few feet below the ceiling. And then all it was trains. And then he got bored of it and tried to sell it for $35 million with the trains listed as the feature. Like and nobody bought it.
That's insane.
So my question is, money no object. You are Nick Cage, 1996. You are sitting on just more money than you've ever seen in your life. What is your holy grail?
Are you talking like whole collections or just like one item?
Either one that you would tell to yourself, if I had unlimited funds, because I just did Face Off, I'm gonna throw down.
But only if you did Face Off.
Only if you did Face Off.
This is pre-Con Air.
This is not 8mm. No, this is Face Off, Nick Cage.
I mean, I know what mine is because it's been the same for decades at this point, which is All American Comics number 16, which is the first appearance of the Golden Age Green Lantern. And I believe at last check, I'd have to look it up right now, but one that's not quite mint. One that would be, because, comics are, once you hit 9.0, like they go half, 8, 8.5, 9. Once you hit 9, then you go 9, 9.2, 9.4, 9.6, all the way up to the legendary and rarely seen 10. A 9.2, I think, was $850,000 at last.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah. Right now I'm sitting on my second place. I have my second place Grail. My second place Grail is, fuck me, why am I blanking right now? Showcase 22. Showcase 22, which is the first appearance of the Silver Age Green Lantern, so 1959. And I have one of those in a 3.0, which I think is $3,000, give or take. Yeah, it's not, I got it for a steal years ago. And that's just one of those things. And I'm trying to sell it right now because it's been in a box. Like, I'm not going to stick it into a case of collectibles and have it sit there like $3,000,
So John, as somebody who doesn't know anything about how they grade comics, like what makes something a 10? Is it even possible? And what makes something a 3?
I mean, it's the companies that grade them, I'm sure they have like a guide for people, but things like, rips, stains, spine ticks. I mean, hell, people will grade books with missing pages, missing covers. It really depends. 10, I've only seen one 10 in my entire life. And that was a friend who sent off a random Transformers book and it came back a 10. And we were just like, what do we do right now? It's like having a piece of shit painted gold. And you're like, what, a worthless comic book, but it's a fucking 10. What do you do right now?
What do I do?
So like, we just kind of like, we're like, let's just look at it and enjoy it.
We have to bury this.
Yeah. It blows my mind. Sometimes I'll get things back and I'm like, I would have estimated this coming in at like an 8, maybe an 8.5 on a good day. And it's like a 9.4, like my Secret Wars number 8, first appearance of Black Suit Spider-Man.
Right.
I sent that out thinking I was going to get an 8.0 on it, and it came back a 9.4, and I'm like, shit.
Wow.
All right, cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm going to sell that. And then I sent my Star Wars 1 off, and I'm like, this has got to be a 7. It came back a 5.5. So I'm like, well, but it's, I'm not big on grading the comics because like, I don't know, I don't like the look of them necessarily. I don't like the look of those slabs. I really will only do it if I know it's a comic that I can get a good grade on, and in order to sell it. Because even if you look at it and like, 3, 4, 5 people agree, oh, this is an amazing condition, it's still ungraded. So you're going to sell it for ungraded, which is, a third of what you would get for grading it.
Interesting.
But yeah, I do want to know more about what goes into these people's heads about grading comic books because it really seems super subjective. I'm sure it's the same with grading sports cards too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like so.
But, like-
Norell, like, is that a thing too? I this is new for
Oh yeah,
me.
yeah.
Is it really? Okay.
Absolutely. You can there's grading companies across the board that grade anything from shoes, comic books,
Huh.
video cassettes,
Mhm.
video games, sports cards, and there's always in each category there's always like the top 2 or 3 grading companies that are the most credible, reputable, and demand the most value when you do sell them on the secondary market. For example, in sports cards, PSA is the number one that demands the most value.
Huh.
And TCG in trading card games, CGC, SGC. I even have a video cassette here that's been graded. It's the first release of ET. I
Oh,
found it
no
at
way.
I
That's
found it
dope.
at a garage sale. Let me pull out.
It's funny that you say PSA at the beginning because, like, everyone who I know who sends comics to PSA is like, this is shit. But then I see all these card slabs. I'm like, those look beautiful. Their card grading is great.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's an example of, if you really take the time and go to garage sales or swap meets, you can find some deals. So here's a 1988 sealed
wow.
sealed VHS of ET.
Dude,
This is
that's a
the first
trip.
the first
looks
release
amazing.
of ET, 1988. I found it at a garage sale for $1.
Wow.
For $1.
Nice.
I sent it to this company here, IGS.
Yeah.
It got a mint 8, and it cost $20 to get it graded. And then for this specific grade on the secondary market, this is $100 cassette now.
Wow.
So there's definitely value in doing your hunting. There's treasure hunting. When you go to garage sales, supermarkets, or flea markets and so forth. But prime example of a grading company. The IGS does cassettes. I sent it in, and the way that they grade it on is the seal still in its original form? Are there any tears? The edges, if there's any marks or dents. If there's any stains on it. So every grading company has a criteria, but they're all pretty much the same when it comes to what they're looking for across the board. But yeah, you can get anything graded.
That's crazy. That almost seems like its own racket. Like, I'll grade something. Give me $20. I'll tell you if I like it or not.
Well, there's a bunch of upstart grading companies
Mhm.
that are trying to do that with AI and stuff and sports
Sure.
cards.
That's what I was going to ask about. Do you know about that stuff? I saw like these laser machines that people use, Nickel. Like you feed the cards in and then it like scans it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've heard about them as well. Like I said, these are all just like upstarts. Oh, I can't think of one specifically.
Tag Grading is a company that uses AI technology to grade.
Okay.
They scan it and look for various different forms of defects. And the reason why they're using AI is because, to your point, John, you thought you were going to get one grade and then it came back a different grade. When it comes to grading, it could be very subjective. Or is it?
Yeah,
is it subjective, right?
Yeah.
If the person grading your item, is having a bad day, you may not get the grade that
I don't
that-
like
that
your
deserves.
face. You get a 3.
Yeah, no, I mean
Fucking
that's
sucks.
there's been plenty of people who get a grade, they don't like it, they crack the case, send it back in,
Yeah.
and they get a different grade.
Oh, wow,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah.
Yep.
These guys can't be that tough. Just fucking, John's a big dude. Just hold his ankles up. Or fucking Norell, like, is a big fighter guy. Just hold his ankle up and like,
I'll just
give
lay
you
on
a
him.
fucking
That
10.
was my one move. I lay on your floating rib and just make it hard to breathe. Then you just kick him in the head.
Total world I know nothing about, to be real with you. That's amazing. Because everything I've ever bought, I just assumed, like somebody says, like it's PSA graded. I can't remember the other stuff. But like, they'll say something and I believe it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if this is bullshit or not. You know what I mean? Like, I would have no idea. You just hope
Yeah.
that you buy something from a reputable source.
Well, and there's some of those companies, they also do autograph authentication.
Yeah.
So,
That's a big one.
they may not grade, they may not, you may not have a card to grade, but if you send it into like SGC, I think it is, they'll authenticate the autograph.
See, the only thing I know for sure, I've got a lot of random autograph shit, but the only thing I know for sure that was autographed 100%, aside from comic books where I got suckered into getting somebody's autograph, is it's for real. Like I told the story a million times, but the guy who created the Tick, I got his autograph because he bullied
Oh,
me.
no way.
Yeah, it's not the main guy, it's one of the other guys, but
Still.
he's one of the big guys. Long story short, I was in line, I was looking at his stuff, and he grabs the book from my hands. He looks at me and he goes, "Bro, I'm the guy who made the Tick motherfucking blue." And he signed his name and handed it back to me, and he went, $20. And I was just like, I guess I better give you $20 because now I have your goddamn signature.
You should have been like, you probably should have asked for the money before you did the work, bud.
Well, honestly, I could have just walked away and ran away. He's not a very athletic man. But I have a pair of Bret Hart sunglasses bought from his website where he signed it, and it's fading out because I don't know how to take care of shit. But that's the only one I know for sure has to be real because Bret Hart is the most unfun wrestler on the planet. Like there is no way that he had anybody else sign his name for him. He is a fucking dullard, and I love him to death. Everything else, if you told me somebody else signed it yesterday, I would believe you.
I've been thinking about it, and I think I already have, like, in terms of Holy Grail, I think I already have, like, one of the things I've always wanted, and that's the Billy Ripken fuckface bat card.
I was gonna find a way to bring that up. You guys know what this is, right? Oh,
Norell does. I'm sure he does.
Oh, for sure.
Please explain. Please explain.
Oh, well, it's just, it's a card. It's a baseball card of Cal Ripken Jr.'s baby brother. Like, his only claim to fame, really, is that he's Cal Ripken Jr.'s brother. And on his 1988 Fleer, I think it's 88, they took a picture of him with a bat on his shoulder, but on the bat knob, it says fuckface. And the card got released before anyone noticed. And there's actually 3 separate versions of it where it's like scribbled out and then black boxed out. But you can still find the fuckface card floating around. And I picked up a graded autographed one.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's incredible to me, honestly.
So that was, again, that goes along with like my niche collection. I like weird shit like that.
No, dude.
Error cards and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not terribly expensive or worth much, but it's something fun to look at. Like, like the Mark Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Mark Jackson Menendez brothers card.
Yeah.
I want to get my hands on one of them. And it's like $8, maybe 30 max. But I think if money was no issue, I would probably collect old working arcades.
Oh God. Yes.
Like I would just have a whole room, like not filled with trains, but filled with like 80s and 90s
Fill your
arcades.
$35 million mansion with like Lucky and Wild and Galaga and like all these
Lucky and Wild. Yeah, Area 51.
Nobody's ever remade these. Like they're not on
and they
Switch.
Shouldn't. They should. Don't put that bad energy out. We don't need those remade because they're going to do it wrong.
Oh yeah. For sure.
No, I would just have like a whole arcade. Like I want original too.
Yeah.
I want like original case. I don't want refurbished is fine, but I'm not talking about like recreated with a SIM card in it or whatever running the game. I want the actual circuitry. I want the circuit boards and everything working original.
What if it's one of those cases where it is a classic arcade machine? So say it's the Mortal Kombat case, but they slapped a Sunset Riders board in there.
Ooh, I remember that shit.
Like it's all original, but like something happened with the Sunset Riders case. So and then something happened with the Mortal Kombat board. So they're just like, well, let's take 2 working things and put them together.
The box, could be original. The box could be a remake if you want.
A reproduction, okay.
I would rather have the original game components, the original electronic components, than just be running like, running a Raspberry Pi or something inside.
Right.
No, I'm with you on that. And it's
like I don't care if the wooden box itself is like rebuilt or whatever.
Right.
Ideally as original as possible would be great. But yeah, if money was no issue, that's what I would be collecting.
I'll say for me, my default answer would be something sports related, because I'm a big sports card guy, especially from the Bay Area. So default would probably be something like a Stephen Curry rookie auto. But doing a little thinking here, I would say what would really take me back, if money was not an object here, something video game related as well. the original Game Boy was a big influence in my childhood. So I go back and buy everything original, sealed box, the original Game Boy, the all the different attachments. You got the virtual headset when it came out, and you had different. I remember there was another gadget that you put on your hand and you could play.
Oh, the Power Glove.
Yeah,
that thing worked like it's the worst thing. Like, it does not work for shit.
I've never known anyone who's ever owned one.
My uncle had one and it was awful, but it was cool. Like, it was cool if you just like took it and like played, but the whole idea of like playing like Super Outrun by turning your arm, it did not work well. But it's still like, it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I had the power pad. I had the actual running power pad.
Yeah.
My sister were in
for
sport.
track and field.
Right. So we would run that all the time. And then we had somebody over at the house, was one of my friends, and he knelt down and started hitting it with his hands. And me and her just looked at each other like, oh, you're a terrible person. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just run on the running pad. And apparently, as the years have gone on and I've read like people talking about it, I'm like, oh, everybody cheated.
Yeah.
Like, why even have this?
That's like you're playing whack-a-mole without the mallet and you're just hitting them with your hands.
And no, it's not my holy grail, but that would be one where if I could go back, I would have saved that thing, because that thing that got a lot of use. It probably wouldn't have worked, but nobody does that. You know what I mean? Probably for good reason. Nobody does that thing anymore. And talking about to kind of go into Nichols' thing, I like the stuff that's unique where I can look at, not that I would put a power pad on my wall, but I can look back at and go, hey, this was a piece of history. The Power Glove is a piece of history. You know what I mean? Something like that where the fuck face bat. This is a piece of history where if I ever just have a shitty day, I can look at it and either crack myself up or go into some kind of mental state where everything is fine again. For sure.
Right.
So do all three of you have history like interacting with collectors and sellers in the scene? Because I never sell anything.
Oh, God. It's terrible.
Okay.
It's a terrible experience.
The closest I ever had was I had a friend whose husband used to do, this was a thing at once upon a time, but he had his business where he would sell stuff for you. So I gave him a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I didn't make a whole lot of money, but I had a bunch of product I was trying to move because it was all collecting dust. That's the closest I ever got. So I guess my question to you guys is, like, what's the strangest or most ridiculous thing someone has tried to sell, or whether it was an obvious fraud or an attempted good one, or just something where you're really trying to make money off this?
Oh, I mean, that's when you're doing anything card related, like online or anything like that. It's like they
$5,000, no low ballers. I know what I have.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean that says it all right there.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's comics, it's cards. It's
right. They're always trying to undercut you or overcharge you.
Oh, that must be a pain in the ass.
Like, I don't feel like there's ever been. I mean, that's not true. Rarely does it feel very fair. In my opinion.
What do you guys call them out? Like, what do you do?
Nah, it's not worth calling out the. I mean,
no, because then they, some people get all touchy about it too, and they're like, "Fine, I'll just find somebody else."
Lie.
But the other thing too is it can come back and bite you in the ass, because a lot of these people are really good at talking to and working with people and creating a community around themselves. And then you go to call themselves out, and then
everybody defends
everybody just comes and defends them and shits on you, doxes you, all that stuff. So it's better to just block them. Like, I see it a lot in the comic industry. Like, the comic book industry, for lack of a better term, they are some of the whiniest bitches on the planet. Like, somebody will claim some books on a live sale and then not pay. Okay, just fucking relist them, man. But no, an Instagram post goes up with a screenshot of there. I just need to warn the community. I'm like, he just didn't fucking pay you, dude. You didn't. You still have the product.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You didn't get ripped off. You didn't lose money. You just 15 minutes of your time was wasted. All right, chill
Right.
the
Right?
fuck out.
DX007-6969 doesn't have to be doxxed. We can move on from that.
We can leave him alone.
Yeah,
It's that type of shit. Sorry.
to comment on that, yeah, in the day of modern day collecting, when there's so much money involved, yeah, there's definitely a side of the hobby community that's very dark in that sense, to where, it's all about the money. If they can get one over, they will. However, there is a good side of the community,
Mhm.
as long as you find those pockets of local
Absolutely.
shows, local communities, really trade nights. I found the best communities at trade nights, where you really get in tune with real collectors who are really looking to meet other collectors.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely two sides of the coin there. But because of so much,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so
I'm not
much
trying
money.
to shit on everybody.
I'm trying
know.
to shit on everybody. I don't get those prices down. I want that Macho Man actual eyeglasses.
But for the question though, on what's the most absurd thing I've seen, so I didn't actually wasn't involved, but I saw somebody who shared the post. So the day that Tom Brady retired, he sat on this beach and filmed a selfie video of him announcing his retirement. Somebody the following day or the same day went to that exact same beach, found the exact same spot that Tom Brady sat, collected some sand.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. God
Collected
damn it.
some sand, bottled it up, and took a picture of it and set it on eBay and said, "This is Tom Brady's retirement sand." And it,
Tom Brady's ass
yeah,
sand.
yeah. I don't know how much it sold for, but it sold on eBay, and there was a lot of people bidding on it.
Oh,
And I
God.
thought that was just very funny.
Well, I mean, we kind of laugh about that, but Topps has done that exact same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, hell, that
Topps,
one.
the trading card company, has, as some of their relics.
Mm.
Normally it's like it's off of a jersey or something, right? Or a batting glove, or they've actually done part of a cleat.
Mhm.
Like,
just a part of a
like,
cleat?
I'm
Yeah.
not even joking. Like, this relic
Jesus.
card is like 3 inches thick.
Oh.
But I think it was for their opening day series one year. They did the infield dirt.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, like, yeah, you got a relic card with a little window, and you could see the fucking dirt from
Wow.
one of the stadiums.
I would be upset, but when I used to go to the UFC gym, we used to have a lot of guys who get discounts and stuff. And one of the things I got, just because my wife was a big Ronda Rousey fan, was a tiny, like, 2-inch section of the ring when she fought Carmouche. And it's a little spot of blood. And for a second there, you go like, oh, this is rad. This could be her blood. And you think about it like, this could be any ring ever. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and it's
Yeah,
white.
yeah.
And it's like, he is not the most, like, upstanding promoter I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and there's a funny thing about that, like going back to like sports cards and stuff. You have to be careful when you get a relic, because some of them say game used or
Right.
game worn,
Right.
and then others will just say player worn. So meaning you could have one that if it was game worn, it was worn in a game.
Right.
Or you can have one where the player went to a signing and threw on like 5 or 6 jerseys at once, and then took them all off, and then all of a sudden now it's player worn.
Oh, dude.
But he threw on like 10 jerseys all at one time.
And even and Nickel, even to another degree of that, there are some relic cards out there where it specifically says not from any specific game, event, or player worn. It's literally
no way.
just a random.
Yeah.
We just
random
put
relic.
dirt in a card, and you're just gonna give that to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I had it around here somewhere, Norell. And it was just sitting behind my computer monitor, but the screen cover's gone. I've had it for 35 years, but it still works.
That's awesome.
An original
It still works, man.
That contraption that you had in your hand is the reason why I can't see. I was just like,
Right. Yeah.
for like
Hoping
12
we
hours
drive
a
by
day.
a street lamp on the way home
Yeah.
while you're driving so you can
Yeah.
see for a second.
My
Man.
parents never got me one. I didn't own a Game Boy until they gave a Game Boy Advance away for free when you bought an N64 because they were I think the PS2 came out, so they were like just selling all this shit for
Yeah.
like $100. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's the only Game Boy I've ever owned in my life.
Yeah.
Loved it though. I missed out for sure, but my parents were never gonna do that shit.
That was my first like owned console. Like I had a Game Boy. I did not have a Nintendo of my own. Like I never had my own like at home console. It was always like the family console or my stepbrother's console or something like that. So that was like the first one that was mine, and and I loved that thing. Still
Right.
do.
That's awesome.
So, but since you guys do buy and sell, then have you guys ever sold something like you couldn't believe someone was actually gonna buy? Like, I can't believe somebody wants this thing and I've gotten money for it.
Yeah, for sure. There was one thing that I came across. I was digging out some stuff from storage, and I came across my wife. It was actually my wife's. She saved a whole bunch of TV guides, just
Oh, shit.
random TV guides. I don't know why she saved it, but she saved it, and I threw them on eBay, and they sold. You know, there was one TV guide in particular. I think it was the season finale of what was the Superman TV show?
Lois and Clark.
Before that, it was
Lois and
Or
Clark was
after
the one
that,
with
Smallville.
yeah, Smallville. It was after.
Smallville. Okay.
Yeah. So
the good one.
Smallville. It was
Not with the Nazi.
it was the very last episode, and they had a special TV guide, and it was like a limited. It wasn't even a limited edition. It was just a TV guide that had the last episode of Smallville. And man, the moment I threw it on, is someone bought it within like five hours of me posting that line. So
Dude, people are like still years after that show went off the air. People are still so hardcore into that show.
tell a kid today what a TV guide is, and they'll probably trip out.
Why would you need one?
Yeah.
Why would you need one? But our generation was the one where there was that one channel that scrolled through what was on, and we would
Hell
just
yeah.
sit there watching it. Yeah, we learned a lot of patience when we were
Mhm.
Shit, I missed what was on channel 12. I
kids.
gotta wait for it to go by again. Oh shit, diners, drive-ins, and dives.
So, was there an item that you guys had a chance to get that you didn't, that you regret?
Yes. To this day, I got my first big boy job. I was like 20, 21. I want to say I was doing security, getting a healthy $26 an hour. And I was
Nice.
like,
You
fuck
got
yeah.
26 an hour at that age?
26 an
Nice.
hour, man.
You
that
wanted
was-
you a
that was-
millionaire.
I don't know. I mean, it's a good question.
I was drooling making $14.99 an hour at a hospital, and I'm like, I'm rich.
Yeah, they do government contractors, man. They
God
make
damn.
some money. I saw a guy posted on eBay, and it was basically like first appearances of, I think it was like Thor, Ant-Man, and a couple other superheroes, and then the number ones of their first own series. And it was like 12, 14 books, I want to say, all said and done. I think he was asking like $2,000, and I'm pretty sure it sold for like 1,800 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, the amount that those go for now after the MCU and all that stuff
Yeah.
going at their
Jesus.
high, like that's $10,000-$12,000 worth of comic books.
Wow.
And yeah, I was gonna buy that, and instead, I can't remember what I bought. I think it was like
spent it on a McDonald's combo number 4.
no. Everybody knows it's the number 2. That's what's up, man. Come on, stay professional. No. Yeah, I know that was still 20 years later. I'm kicking myself for not buying that.
Yeah, for me, nothing too crazy, but one thing that really sticks out, and it's more recent. Are you guys familiar with the gentleman Gary Vee?
Gary V.
Yeah.
He's a motivational speaker. He's really big into all the different social media platforms. So he's an influencer to an extent, but he does a lot of great podcasts and interviews and so forth. So this gentleman, Gary Vee, he commands a very big following, millions of followers and so forth. He's really into, or he got into collectibles, and he started his own trading card game.
Huh.
It was called V Friends. And this was maybe 2-3 years ago. And he literally hand drew these characters on these cards, and, and created them, sold them and everything. And at that moment, I was looking at it and people were buying it. And I was just to myself, I'm like, this is probably one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. There, there's these characters and they to me that they meant nothing, you know.
Right.
It was some guy who had a lot of influence. He created this game. He hand drew these characters and he started selling them.
Right.
And I remember I had the box like in hand at a local card show, and it was the very first edition of this box. But to me, it was so dumb. I was like, no, I'm not going to spend my money on it.
Right.
Flash forward, 2-3 years later, those boxes that I had the pitch of buying they're going for several $1,000s per box. And I had the opportunity to buy them at a really great price and so forth. But overall, to flash forward, Gary Vee now is collaborating with Topps. And now that same one that he hand drew is now an official licensed with Topps, and it's getting big, man. A lot of people are buying into it. It's huge, and big ups to Gary Vee. He created something on his own, and now it's huge.
Wow, this is crazy. Like, I just started to Google them, and it's like a V Friends manga sealed 12-pack box for $2,000.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Just
You had
12
them in
packs
your
of cards for
hand.
$2,000.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
Back at the height of my card collecting a few years ago, I had quite a collection of like higher end autos of like my favorite players. I kind of like had, a good auto from each of my like more favorite players from my childhood. Like, had Nolan Ryan, Ricky Henderson,
Right.
Mark McGuire,
Nice.
Cal Ripken Jr., Ken Griffey Jr. And I ended up like having to sell all of basically everything off. So I wish I didn't. Really wish I didn't. I really wish I still had, just at least those like 5 or 6 cards.
The
That's
one
all
that continue to bring in the dopamine to you. I get you.
Yeah, just because it was like they were such cool cards that it was like just looking at them was like, oh man, that is such a sick autograph. Ken Griffey Jr. especially.
Yeah, that's
like
rad.
just such a gorgeous autograph.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's so awesome. You even have that even for a minute. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That's
yeah, I
dope.
miss them. I miss them.
And he signs his autograph the exact same way every time, just that beautiful cursive. Slanted. It's all super
I can
slanted.
picture it in my head right now. I mean, his autograph is very popular for baseball nerds like us, for sure.
But I can't think of anything that like I had passed up, but definitely I miss having those cards, and I wish I still had them up in my case.
So so all these cards and stuff, like all these little trends and whatnot. Was there anything you guys ever saw as collectible guys, as guys in the industry that you saw getting traction and you guys knew, hey, this is not something I want to get into. It's going to burn out, or this is something that has no real value. Everybody always talks about like Beanie Babies and NFTs and stuff like that. Were you ever part of something you're like, hey, look, I'm not going to touch this shit because this is a dumb thing to collect.
The NFTs, the NFTs for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The NFTs were like, no, this is like,
exactly. I don't know why you're doing it now.
Right. I mean, because what's an NFT but a picture of a baseball card? Like, let's just use that as an example, right? But I mean, like, what's a baseball card but a piece of cardboard with a picture on it?
Right.
But at least you can physically hold like this card. What's an NFT but a picture of a picture?
I remember seeing outside of the Coliseum for the better part of 6 months was just when you're heading down 880 South, big ass sign for NFTs from this rapper Moneybagg Yo. And like, I want to say it was in like 2023. And I'm like, dude, you are 5 years behind on this shit. And you have a prime real estate billboard outside the Coliseum that you're probably paying a mint for. And it's just like, everything in the news is just like, oh yeah, guy who paid 800 grand for monkey NFT sells it for $7 or something
Right.
like
Yeah.
that. Like, and now this dude's doing, you're doing NFTs, dude. Come on.
No.
Don't worry, he'll
Yeah, I
come
mean,
back. Norell's gonna put him on a shirt. He'll be fine. He'll be
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
I really can't think of anything. Like it's so much harder to miss the boat than it is to see the boat sinking.
Yeah.
Like, but like I can. NFTs are the only thing I can think of that was like, this isn't going to go anywhere. This is going to flop.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the list of things that I thought were going to flop that turned out to be fucking huge
Oh.
is endless.
Oh,
right?
really?
Well, yeah. I mean, like that is a list of like countless things that you're like, oh, that's not going to go anywhere. And then all of a sudden it's fucking exploding.
Give me one good one.
God, I mean, going all the way back to Pokemon, I would say.
Oh, you thought
You know?
Pokemon wasn't gonna be big?
No, at the very start of it, I thought that was just going to be a little fad, you know?
Yeah.
You tell me back then when it first came out how big it was going to be, like I wouldn't have believed you.
Decades later, right?
Yeah.
$billion industry. I got
Oh
you.
yeah, you know, that really felt like that was just like the latest craze, you know,
Cool.
because we lived through like the Power Rangers isn't exactly a perfect example either because that ended up going on forever too.
Right.
But I'm mostly talking about like the sudden uptick of interest, the hype, and then like the fall off. Sure, there's still plenty of Power Rangers stuff out there,
Sure, but it's not. Yeah.
that just meteoric rise of like the first few seasons of Power Rangers, I thought that's what was going to be Pokemon. Like,
Right.
okay, well, they came out with a movie. This is their peak. They're going to fail any day now.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny to me though, because it's like Power Rangers was kind of generational. Like I know people who still watched Power Rangers in 2015. It is
They're on a list.
completely different Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And it's just like I look at it and I'm just like, holy shit, this thing goes. They went for 30 years and
Something like that, yeah.
something insane like that. But like there was no true massive success aside from the original in the 90s.
And that's why I think Nickel has the best example of that because Pokemon will just keep going and going. They can add stuff, they can subtract stuff. Whenever I see Power Rangers, it's like everybody's still clamoring for the first generation of it. And they keep trying it and it does not stick. It does not stick. You know, you can release a Pokemon movie right now. It's just going to do a gangbusters the same way it always did.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Speaking of Power Rangers, they're rebooting it again next year, right?
They are?
Yeah. So
another movie or show?
I think it might be a show. I read an article that Netflix was originally going to reboot it, but things fell through, and another streaming service picked it up, and they recruited the directors and producers of Percy Jackson, those movies that they came out, and they're rebooting it for next year. They're going to start filming next year.
It's going to suck.
Interesting. Do you know if it's going to be one of those ones that's geared towards like a newer generation of kids, or is it trying to appeal to those of us that grew up with it now as adults?
40-year-olds.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna have some cameos of the original cast who still
God, that's how they break this shit. God damn it.
Well, they did that. That quick one on Netflix, like what, last year, the year before?
Yeah, I think the Blue Ranger and then the Black Ranger, right? Yeah.
That's right. I saw pictures of that.
That wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad. It was 100% just fan service though, which like I have no problem with.
Right.
You know, it was cool. And it's funny because the Blue Ranger actually came to a collectible shop in Union City, like right before that launch, that debuted, and was doing signings over there. And I missed that, and I was kind of sad.
Yeah, but certain fads, I agree with Nickel on the NFTs. Man, right when that came out, I was just like, nah, this is just another money grab. The only other thing, I think, John, you mentioned it, was the Labubus. that falls right in line with the trolls, the Beanie Babies, the Furbies,
Yep.
that
Oh,
whole
totally.
line.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those Labubus, they'll probably be hot for a while, but eventually it's just gonna die off. And
I'm so glad my kids don't know what those are, or if they haven't said it out loud. I do not care for them at all.
My older one doesn't give a shit about them, but the younger one is just like, "Can I bring my Labubu to school?" And in my head, I'm like, "Yes, because then you might lose it."
I hope so.
But then I'm like, "Wait, no." Then I'm gonna have to deal with that devastation and that crying and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it'll be gone.
It'll be gone. I'll bribe her with more Barbies or something.
Speaking of gone, we are completely out of time. I know we've got a lot more stories from the collection game, a lot more things we want to discuss, and a lot more fun, nostalgic stuff to look at. So we'll definitely have to do this again. So Norell, go ahead and give us that last plug, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate that. Follow me on social media, at Hobbybox Hunter. I'm on Instagram mostly, but you can also find me on YouTube as well as eBay. But yeah, follow me on Instagram. That's where I post everything related to what I'm doing regarding the shirts. Every release is limited. So I've done 2 releases thus far, and I'm moving on to my 3rd release. Hopefully that will be coming within the next month. And each one is going to be, again, motivated by a Bay Area hip hop or music icon. And it would be inspired by a trading card or a sports card. And I make limited edition actual physical cards as well as T-shirts. So follow along and, give me some feedback. I appreciate that.
Do you have any shows coming up?
No, not so far planned. But there's shows every weekend to close out the year. So I might pop a pop-up event, and if so, just stay tuned on Instagram. I'll plug it there.
You got any previews of the third wave? And we getting Hammer? We getting Hammer?
Hey,
we getting Hammer?
Hammer is an OG, man. You can't have a discussion about a Bay Area rap.
Apparently, some people were terrified of him too. Apparently, he had power at one time.
Oh, for sure.
He's a hardcore gangster.
Yeah,
like he's got connections
he had
for sure.
Shooters. He legitimately had shooters. That's fucking nuts to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Norell, thank you for being a guest with us. This is Underscore for the rest of the Time Pals. We will see you next time. All right.
Appreciate everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Time Pals. Please like and subscribe. The Time Pals are the geek cornerstone of the Mayday Media Network. Check out all of the Mayday Media podcasts at maydaymedianetwork.com.